Good morning, learner. Today we will learn about the research design. This is the series of lectures of research design. So today we will learn about the research design, non-experimental research design. This is the fourth session of research design classification. In this lecture, we will learn about the non-experimental research design. Important thing is this is the flow charts. The research design also classified two type. We already discussed about the qualitative and quantitative. In quantitative research, we have two types of other classification: experimental research design and non-experimental research design. So today we will learn about of that. So we have already discussed in research design the quantitative research, experimental research. So now this lecture we will learn about the non-experimental research design under the quantitative research method process. So this is the research design and research design classification to the quantitative research. Under the quantitative research is non-experimental research design. Actually, what is the non-experimental research design is? The non-experimental means there is no experiment without any kind of manipulation of the variables. So simple means non-experimental. It means no experiment. The non-experimental research design is a type of research design in which the researcher observe and studies the different kind of the variable without the manipulating or without the controlling them. So this is the very important aspect is this, without manipulating, without controlling the variables, we go for any kind of the studies or research. This is called the non-experimental, means without any kind of the experiment. In this method, the researcher explained generally researcher only collect the data and analyze the relationship and differences. In other things, it means the condition as they naturally exist. Important thing is the non-experimental. It means no experiment. No experiment means no manipulations, no controlling them. It is means we collect the data or collect the information in a natural existing setting. So it is used when the conducting as an experimental research journey. This means experiment is not possible, just like not possible of any kind of practical and ethical process. The important things, if you have such kind of the problem, if you have faced the problems, if you are not able to conduct an experiment, then we will go for the non-experimental type of research. And next important thing is non-experimental research mainly focus on describing the situation, studying the different kind of the relationship and comparing the group without giving any kind of treatment, any kind of interventions. So in that case, if we want to conduct the research in a natural setting, if we want to conduct the describing the situation of any phenomenon in a natural setting, then we go for the non-experimental research design. Non-experimental research design, generally the first important thing is the research design is a design in which the researcher, important thing is do not manipulate the variable. Next important thing is the researcher only observe and analyze the phenomena in a natural setting. And it is mainly used of describe the relationship, trained characteristics of any kind of the population. This means the non-experimental research is a type of research design in which the researcher do not manipulate or control the variables, simple, without any kind of the experiment. In this type of research, the researcher only observe, measure and analyze the situation and phenomena as they naturally occur in the real life situation. If you want to go to study the real life situation, then we go for the non-experimental research design. It is mainly used to study of relationship, to find out the trend, differences among the two different groups and other things, or characteristics of a different kind of the population without giving any kind of treatment or any kind of practical intervention. The non-experimental research is generally useful when we conducting an experiment if it is not possible. Practical is not possible. Important thing is this design help the researcher to understanding the existing situation and collect factual information from the participant. In all that case, we should go for the non-experimental research design. We're giving some example of research design. Important thing is just like studying the relationship between the physical activity level and the body mass among the university student if we find out just a relationship, collect the actual situation, then we try to find out what actually the relationship is or not. In that case, we do not force to the participant or student to exercise or stopping the exercise. We simply observe their activity level and measure their BMI just to observe. And after that, they collect the body mass index. Then we analyze whether the active student have different BMI values compared to the less active student. So in non-experimental research, generally we have focus on just like nothing is controlled artificially, everything is goes in the natural setting. In that type of research, no treatment is given, and the researcher studies simple real life situation, actual situation as they already exist. So now let us understand with the other simple example of non-experimental research design, just like we giving on the important point, just like it's to remember is just in the non-experimental research. Non-experimental research can show the relationship between the variables. For example, we have one variable, we have other variables, because we find out its existing status, and then we try to find out the relationship, positive, negative, and no relationship. So but in it cannot always prove, that is means the cause and effect relationship. It's we just to find out the relation, not find out to or not prove to cause and effect. Just like we giving the example which is related to in the field of physical education. If physically active student have low BMI, body mass index, so we can say that the relationship between the activity and BMI. But we cannot say the physical activity is only the reason for the low BMI, because many other factors like diet, genetics, lifestyle may also be effect on these type of factor. The important thing in a simple word, we can explain all these scenarios. The non-experimental research means observing and studying the things. Important thing is observing and studying things, which type of things as they naturally happen, without the changing or without the controlling the situation. Next is non-experimental research design. This is the definition by Creswell. The student now carefully understand of this definition. It's very important. Non-experimental research design variables in which the variables are observed and measured without manipulating or control by the researcher. It means no control, no, you cannot manipulate, and without manipulating. If you go for to conduct any kind of research to assess the actual status, that is means non-experimental research. So simply the first important things in that the research, what do we means by the variables? The variables are things that can change, just like height, weight, physical activity, marks, heart rate, BMI. So these all variable we can collect the data, just like we assess the actual situation in real life situations. So this definition is play the very important role, just like we giving the definition says observed and measures. This means the researcher only watch, researcher only record, researcher only collect the information. Just it's only the work of researcher first. The next important phase is without the manipulating and control. So you cannot manipulate the variable, you cannot control the variable, you just watch, record and collect the information. This means a researcher does not change anything intentionally. That so many things change naturally, it's okay, but the researcher does not change anything intentionally as per your research protocol. Just like we giving the simple example, if I want to study the relationship between the exercise and BMI among the students, so what we observe simply, to which type of exercise they do the regularly, who does not perform the exercise, and what their BMI is. So I will, in that case, I will not force to the student to do the exercise. I will not stop any from the exercise. I will not only collect the analyze information. Just means I will only collect the information, analyze the information. So this become a non-experimental research. We just assess, observe, and record. We just record how they perform, what type of exercise they perform, how much time they perform, what is their BMI, and what time intensity is. So after that, we just assess the existing situation, and then we can compare. We have some characteristics of non experimental research. The first characteristic is no manipulation of independent variables, because you know very well about the variable of independent and dependent. The student, now let us discuss the important characteristic is non-experimental research. In the simple word, just like the first characteristics is means no manipulation of independent variables. This means the researcher does not change or control the variable. It means we just observe, we just watch, we just record. For example, if we are studying the relationship between the exercise and fitness, in that case, we simply observe the student and exercise habit. We cannot force, we do not force them to exercise. You do more exercise, you do less exercise. Just means we just observe and record the information. Second important thing is no random assignment of the participant. In this type of research means no random assignment. In experimental research, the participants are divided into different groups, sometimes randomly, sometimes non-randomly. But in non-experimental research, participants remain in their natural group. It is means we just observe, we just watch, we just record in a natural situation, and it means actual situation. Third important thing is study conduct in natural setting. So this is means we just watch, we just record, and we just observe when the in natural or real life situation. That is means the study conducted in natural settings, real life setting. This means the research happen in real life situations such as school, colleges, playground, gym, workplace, home place. The researcher do not create any artificial laboratories condition. We just observe, assess, record in a natural situation. Next characteristics of a non-experimental research is focus on describing. It is means description and relationship. We just focus two type of focuses. We just description, go for the description, and next is the find out the relationship. The main aim is to describe the situation. Once we are describing the situation and find the relationship between the different kind of variable without manipulating, without changing the any kind of the variable. It means just like we giving a simple example, relationship between sleep and academic performance. In that case, we just record sleeping habit and academic performance, and after that we try to find out the relationship between the physical activity and obesity. So we just assess the physical activity and the level of obesity, and after that we can find out the relationship. Next characteristics of non-experimental research is means only use survey, observation, and existing data. The researcher collect the information through the different kind of tool generally we use in research process and research methodology to collect the information. So in that type of research, we used of different kind of tool for data collection, just like questionnaire, interview, observation method, record, reports, and already available of data. We just collect, and after that we giving the or description about of this. Just like we giving an example, a researcher may use student attendance record and exam marks to study academic performance. So student remember of these key points. Important thing is non-experimental research studies a real life situation naturally. And important thing is real life situation. Second thing is without controlling and manipulating of variables. Here we will discuss about the purpose of non-experiment. In the last slide, we already discussed of so many aspects. Here we go for the purposes. The two first purpose is to describe the characteristic of population. We have a specific populations. Through the non-experimental research, we collect and observe the data, and after that we go for the describe of the population characteristics. This means the researcher studies and describe the feature and qualities of the group of the people. Just like a researcher may study on the average fitness level of the university student, we just collect the fitness level of the students, and after that we describe, just like eating habit of athletes and non-athletes, we just record the informations, and after that we describe the eating habit of athlete or non-athlete. So this aim is simply to describe the current situation. Next purpose of this, to identify the relationship between the variable. So first we understand, first we record the information in real situation, and after that we try to identify the relationship between the variables. This means the finding whether two variables are connected or related to each others. For example, the relationship between the physical activity and BMI. So we just record the physical activity level of the specific group, and after that recorded that body mass index. After that we try to find out the relationship is exist or not. The researcher studies whether one variable change along with the another variable in a natural setting. Next purpose of the study is, sometimes experiment cannot be conducted. If you want to be conductor of experiment, but due to this certain reason, due to this certain limitations, we will not able to conduct the experiment on manipulating the variables. So sometimes this type of situation happen. This means sometime experiment cannot be conducted because they may be difficult, expensive, unethical, or impossible. So then we cannot force to a student experience stress just for the research. So in that case, we go for the study phenomena where experimental situation is not possible, then we will go for the non-experimental type of research. Here we discuss different types of non-experimental research, just like the descriptive type of research, second correlation, find out relationship we already discussed, and survey research method, and ex post facto type of research. In the next few slides, in a very short, we try to understand about all four type of non-experimental research design. The first is the descriptive research design. A descriptive research design simple as a researcher watch, observe and record the existent situation, and then main purpose is to describe the phenomena. Simple. So descriptive research design is a type of non-experimental research design generally used to describe the characteristics, behavior, condition or situation of population in natural exist setting. Important thing in this type of research design, researchers do not manipulate the variable but only simple observe, simply record and analyze the information one by one in a systematic, it means scientific and planned and systematic way. It also helpful to understand, important thing is what is happening in a particular situation. Just we are observe, that is means we try to find out what is happening. Just like we are watching the match, cricket match, just we observe and what is happening in the match in a natural setting. So descriptive research commonly use a different kind of method, just like survey, questionnaire, and observation, interview, mainly to collect the data. Just like we giving in a simple example, a researcher may study of fitness level, study habit, dietary pattern of a student. So this design is widely used, just like uh, in physical education, psychology, sports, or physical general education, to provide accurate, detailed information about the current situation. If you want to detail information of current situation, then we will go, or you will go to non-experimental research design, especially descriptive research design. Descriptive research design is means used to describe characteristics, behavior and condition, and the answer the question is means what is happening, where is happening, when is happening, and how is happening. The important thing is this. So descriptive research design is used to describe the characteristics, behavior, condition and situation of individual or group as they naturally exist. The important thing is means naturally exist situation. We just observe and record the data. It helpful to the researcher. Important thing is to understand and present the accurate information about the particular population or phenomenon situation without manipulating the variables. This type of research giving the answer just like what is happening, why it is happening, and when it is occur. An important thing is how it's occur. So research commonly use different kind of tools to collect the information in the descriptive research, just like we use of survey, observation, questionnaire, interview, to collect the different kind of the information from a specific of population in a natural setting. So this is a simple research design flowchart. Descriptive research design, the important thing is main purpose is first thing. So what is the main purpose? Main purpose of descriptive research simply to describe the situation, to describe the characteristics, frequencies, trend, relationship, and they exist naturally in a specific of situation and population. After the find out the purpose, we go for population, target group of interest, and after the target group, we collect the sample size. Simple. And after this collecting the sample size, we go for the simple data collection procedure. So data collection procedure simple: observation, interview, and oblique survey. So these tools generally used to collect the data, and after the collection of data, we go for the analysis, just like percentage, means, graph, and after that we find after that we reach any type of the conclusion. The important key feature is no manipulation of variable here. The researcher only observe and describe the natural setting and means current situation or existing situation. Next, second type of non-experimental research design is correlation research design. Correlation research design is a type of generally statistical technique used. Correlation is simple: find out the relationship to use to measure the relationship between at least minimum two variables. It shows whether the variable change together and indicate the direction and strengthening of their relationship. If, for example, the variable increase, the other also increase, it is means positive relation. If one variable increase and other is decrease, it is means that is also called negative relationship. If there is no relation, it means no relation between the variable, it means it is called zero correlation. And all this value you know very well, and about of this is more in between the -1 to the +1 in the correlation studies. Correlation research design. First thing is examine the relationship between two or more variables does not determine cause and effect. So this is very important thing. Cause and effect relationship does not determine in that case. The correlation research design as a type of non-experimental research generally used to study of relationship between two and more variable without the changing or controlling them. It is help to researcher to understand whether the variable are connected and how they change it together. To this design giving the answer a simple question such as whether a relationship exists and how strong that the relationship is. In correlation research, researcher only observe and measure the variable in a natural setting as they naturally occur, just like, and do not establish any kind of cause and effect relationship. So we giving a simple example. If you are record the attendance record of the student and his exam record, after that we try to find out the relationships. The attendance can affect of the performance of the student or not, or positive effect, negative effect. So these type of research are called the correlation research design in non-experimental research design. Simple correlation research design, the relationship between two and more variable. Research generally observed, simple, naturally and without manipulating of them. And in that case, we find out the variable if they change together, either the positive and negative. So these type of research is called the correlation research design. Just like we giving the example, the analyze the relationship between the aerobic capacity and endurance performance. So we use of correlation research, find out the data of aerobic activity of a specific group and endurance in a natural setting, and then we find out the relationship what actually aerobic activities positive effect on the endurance or negative effect, or there is no relationship. So this is the flow chart of correlation analysis. Flow chart means this is the stepwise how we can conduct it. The first important thing we try to find out the what is actually purpose of the correlation studies or research design, to examine the relationship between the two variables without manipulating of the variables in a natural setting. So after that we find out the target populations. So in the space we decide the specific target population. After the target population, we use appropriate the sampling technique to collect the sample of the from the population, and after that we go for the data collection. The data collection simple in a natural settings. We just use questionnaire, we just use test, observation and record. All these tools we use to collect the data collection, but important thing is the natural settings. And after that we go for the correlation analysis to compute the correlation coefficient to determine which direction of relationship or what kind of the strength of the relationship between the variables. After that we go for the interpretation or result. Important thing is the correlation goes from the +1 to the -1. This is in between. This is key feature of the correlation studies research design. Important things: no manipulation of variables. No manipulation of variables. The researcher only observe the variable as they naturally occur. Important thing is as they naturally occur. Next important thing is important research design in non-experimental research design is survey research design. Survey research design is a type of research used to collect the information from the large populations. We have the large target populations. If we want a large sample size, then we go for to survey. Just like we are asking the question from the population and collect the data. So researchers generally use to survey to know the pupil opinion, attitude, habits, behavior or experience. The information is generally in that type of research collected through different questionnaire and online survey. Uh, Especially in survey research, the researchers does not change anything, but only gather the data from the participants. We just distribute the survey. Participant is giving your opinion and record. You can not change anything in that period. So this is called survey type of research. Just like we giving a simple example, a researcher may conduct a survey to know the student study habit. Researcher may conduct the survey to know about the athlete dietary pattern, pupil opinion about the physical fitness. Survey research generally is very helpful and very useful. It's help to collect the information very quickly from the population and provide a clear picture of a situation or phenomena in a current natural setting. Survey research is an important thing is data collection generally use of survey is based on the questionnaire. Sometime it goes for the interviews. Next important thing used to study main important things to assess the opinion of the population, attitude of the population and behavior. So research design, survey research design is a research method in which data is collected from the very big population through the using the questionnaire and interview. It is commonly used to try to find out the opinion, attitude, behavior of experience of individual or a specific population and target population. In that type of research, participant answer a set of questions and the researcher analyze the responses of the participants in a current situation. Important things, just like a researcher may use a survey to study student learning habit, student playing habit, student reading habit, and student opinion and about of that habit and what and dietary behavior of the athletes. So all these type of research we will conduct with the help of survey research design. Next is fourth is ex post facto research design in non-experimental research design. Ex post facto means after the effect. Important thing is after the fact. Sorry, after the fact or after something has already happened. In that type of research, refer to the studying event, condition or differences that already exist and cannot be changed by the research. And it means everything is done, everything in exist. After the happened, we can just find out the current situation. The researcher observe, analyze, and the result after the event has occurred. For example, if a researcher studies the effect of previous training program on athlete injuries rate, the training has already happened. The researcher only examine the existence difference afterward. In the type of research design, the researcher generally studies an event condition that has already occurred. The researcher do not create the situation or do not create the manipulation of any kind in with the variables. We just things happen, and after that we go for the ex post facto research. Generally, after the cricket match, what type of the behavior of the audience, in that case of winning, in that case of losing the over team, the instant of the researchers try to find out possible reason and cause behind the existing condition. In a simple word, the effect has already happened, and research look back to understand its possible causes. Ex post facto research, this means suppose a researcher want to study why some student have low academic performance. Some student have the academic performance high, some is low. The researcher cannot experience or cannot create poor performance in the student because it already happened. Students as result is out, and after this result out, some student having the low grade, some student having the high grade. After the results come, yani after the situation happened, and we try to find out the reason of this. The research cannot experimentally create the poor condition. It means researcher want to study why some student have low academic performance. So the researcher studies the student who already have low performance means and compare them with the student who have performed well. We just assess and compare with the well. This is the type of research is called ex post facto. The researcher may examine factors in ex post facto research, just like the study habit, sleeping pattern, family environment, physical activity. This is called ex post facto research because the condition already exists before the research begins. The important thing, condition is already exist, and after that we go for the research. This is type of research is called ex post facto. Simple, the students or learner, ex post facto research design is also called casual comparative research because it's compare the group to identify the possible causes of existence differences. In this type of research, the researcher studies the differences between the group after the event or condition has already been occurred. The researcher do not create any kind of the situation, any kind of the environment, any kind of the manipulation with the variable. Instead, the researcher observe existing condition and try to understand possible reason behind of the any kind of situation. And we're giving a simple example of ex post facto research. A researcher may compare the injury rate of athlete who previously followed the different training program. The training program already happened, and we just find out the rate of the injuries. So one group may have followed the strength training while another group follow the regular fitness training. The injuries have already occurred before the research design. The injuries already happened before the research design. The researcher only compare the group to see whether the training program may be related to different type of the injuries. So this type of research is called ex post facto research. So ex post facto research studies the existing condition and compare the group after the event have already happened. What kind of the advantage of ex post facto research design? It is means the research done after the event happened. This means conduct in natural condition. Important thing is the advantage of this type of research we will conduct in natural situation. Useful when the experimentation is impossible or unethical. Sometimes it is not possible to experiment or manipulate the variable. Sometimes possible but not unethical. The situation is ethical and an experiment is not possible, that then we will go for the ex post facto type of research. That is means the suitable for the large populations. If you have the very large population, in that case it is difficult to go for the experimental research design, then we will go for the ex post facto type of the research and provide the valuable descriptive and relationship or relational data, just like the provide. So both a type of the research we will conduct in that type of research design. Next important thing, what kind of example we giving with the help of ex post facto research design? Simple, the relationship between the physical activity and academic performance. We just to find out, because physical activity and academic performance is comes, it means we have collected 200 student data, we collect with the questionnaire, go for the correlation studies. That is called the ex post facto type of the research, because the things already be happened. Next important thing is means non-experimental research design focus on observation analysis without manipulation. And it's widely use of education, sports, science, technology, and then important thing, it's help the understanding the pattern trend relationship in real life type of the situation. And next important things in we will conclude of non-experimental research here. Non-experimental research design generally, when we used, you should things simple. It is means that this type of research designs are important method used to study of real life situation. And next important thing, without the manipulating of the variables. Different type of research such as descriptive research, correlation research, survey research, ex post facto type of research help the researcher to describe the condition, identify the relationship, collect the opinion and behavior, and study of existence difference among the different type of the group. So these design are widely used in education and physical education and sport, because they allow researcher to investigate the natural setting in a practical or ethical way. So that is important for the sport we just go for, and any sporting arena, it is very important to collect the data in a natural setting. Although non-experimental research cannot fully establish cause and effect relationship, it's provide the valuable information for understanding the human behavior, performance, social condition, and real world problems. Thank you very much, my dear learner.